'Cause honey, you know I've never lied to you.
Welcome to Cash Doll TV. Get your gossip from me. Stay up with the tea.
Ring, ring, ring.
Yes, pick up the phone because your girl Cash Doll got the tea. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching Cash Doll TV. Today's topic is about Elvis Presley. I've always been fascinated with Elvis.
Fever when you hold me tight. Fever.
Part of that reason is because I grew up 3 minutes from Graceland. I would pass his 2 planes with Lisa Marie on the side and his 2 Cadillacs on a daily basis. It's funny because I own 2 Cadillacs now, and it always makes me think of Elvis. I kind of feel like I manifested this by seeing his cars every day. Speaking of Cadillacs, did you know Elvis gave them away frequently to friends, employees, and also to doctors who wrote prescriptions for his addiction problem?
He said, Daisy, he said, would you like to have a car? She said, I sure would, Mr. Elvis. He said, well, that's your car right there. And she thanked him and she run and picked him up off of the ground.
She picked him up?
Picked him up.
Let's get into some of Elvis's history. Elvis Aaron Presley was born January 8, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi. He began his music career in 1954 at Sun Records with producer Sam Phillips, who wanted to bring the sound of African American music to a wider audience. Presley's first RCA Victor single, Heartbreak Hotel, was released in January 1956 and became a #1 hit in the U.S. Within a year, RCA Victor sold 10 million Presley singles. With a series of successful television appearances and chart-topping records, Presley became the leading figure of the newly popular rock and roll. Though his performing style and promotion of the then marginalized sound of African Americans led to him being widely considered a threat to the moral well-being of white American youth. In November 1956, Presley made his film debut in Love Me Tender. Elvis Presley purchased Graceland in 1957, a beautiful large home to display cars, planes, and to have somewhere to call his home. He was drafted into military service in 1958, and he relaunched his recording career 2 years later with some of his most commercially successful work.
For everybody in Memphis and the South.
Well, thank you. You'll never know how happy I am to be here. Someone asked me this morning, what did I miss about Memphis? And I said, everything.
I asked that question on the train this morning.
I never ate in a restaurant the entire time I was in Germany. It's funny. I either ate in the mess hall or at home. One of the two. I never went anywhere while I was in Europe except to Paris. I went to Paris and on a leave, and that was all. I'd like to go back on a tour over there someday, all of Europe.
Presley held few concerts and, guided by Parker, devoted much of the 1960s to making Hollywood films and soundtrack albums, most of them critically derided. Some of Presley's most famous films included Jailhouse Rock in 1957, Blue Hawaii in 1961, and Viva Las Vegas in 1964. In 1968, he returned to the stage in the acclaimed NBC television comeback special Elvis, which led to an extended Las Vegas concert residency and several highly profitable tours. As far as Elvis's love life, child, it was a little messy. Elvis was a handsome man who had his picks of beautiful ladies. Here were the lovely ladies in his life. The woman who won the ring, though, was the one and only Priscilla. 6 months into his stint in the U.S. Army, Elvis was stationed in West Germany in the fall of 1958. He was still there in 1959 when Priscilla arrived in the country. The Air Force had transferred her stepfather, Paul, there. She immediately captured the star's attention even when she admitted she was a ninth grader. He played several songs to impress her, including Are You Lonesome Tonight? But when she left that night, she assumed the evening wasn't going to be repeated. Elvis saw a resemblance between Priscilla and his recently deceased mother, Gladys, whose death had hit the singer hard. He also told his friend Rex Mansfield that Priscilla was young enough that I can train her any way I want. After Priscilla had been on 4 dates with Elvis, her parents insisted on an in-person meeting. When they got together, Paul asked why a star was interested in his teenage daughter. Elvis responded, "Well, sir, I happen to be very fond of her. She's a lot more mature than her age, and I enjoy her company." The Beaulieus were apparently charmed enough to allow Priscilla to keep seeing Elvis. Priscilla's age meant they couldn't go out in public, but they still saw each other often. The only thing they didn't do was consummate their relationship. As his time in the Army came to a close, Priscilla wanted to do so, but Elvis told her, "Someday we will, Priscilla, but not now. You're just too young." She also started wearing new, more adult outfits, which Elvis had purchased for her. In addition, the singer had Priscilla's hair and makeup adjusted to suit his preferences, telling he, "I like a lot of makeup." In the end, the Beaulieus agreed to send their daughter to Memphis, and Priscilla enrolled at Immaculate Conception High School. Although she stayed with Vernon and Dee at first, she was soon living at Graceland. Before graduating in May 1963, she took pills that Elvis provided so she could go to classes during the day while being available for him at other times. Elvis valued what he saw as Priscilla's purity, so their relationship remained sexless. However, throughout his relationship with Priscilla, Elvis was with other women.
Margaret was undoubtedly the most unforgettable lover in Elvis's life, even causing arguments between him and Priscilla. And Margaret and Elvis teamed up in 1963 to film Viva Las Vegas, and they nearly fell in love at first sight, quickly launching into a passionate affair. However, Elvis was not single at the time. He was officially dating Priscilla. During filming, Elvis and Anne grew exceptionally close and had remarkable chemistry, which soon led to rumors of romance in the media. Priscilla was furious and confronted Elvis, but he explained that it was all just fabricated publicity for the movie and that she should trust him rather than the so-called media reports. In the following years, however, Elvis and Priscilla's relationship grew increasingly distant. Not only was Anne part of his life, but Elvis's fame and career brought many actresses and female celebrities into his orbit, with whom he maintained flirtatious relationships. Reports of these affairs constantly appeared in the newspapers, and Elvis never denied these connections. Priscilla's disappointment in the man she had loved since she was 14 only grew deeper.
Ranging from girl next door types to Hollywood co-stars, but they were intimate in other ways. Christmas in 1966, Elvis proposed. And though the singer felt pressure about the whole arrangement, on May 1st, 1967, they were married in Las Vegas. He was 32 and she was 3 weeks away from her 22nd birthday. They also had a daughter and named her Lisa Marie Presley, who was born on February 1st, 1968. Their age difference wasn't a problem for Elvis, who thought he could mold Priscilla into his ideal woman. At first, Priscilla accepted Elvis's influences, but as she grew older, she began to seek more control over her own life. This was something their relationship couldn't survive, and after 6 years of marriage, they divorced in 1973. Despite this, Priscilla still holds fond memories of her legendary ex-husband. She wrote a memoir, Elvis and Me, in 1985 about their courtship and marriage, and the book is the basis for the biopic Priscilla. On December 21st, 1970, Presley engineered a meeting with U.S. President Richard Nixon at the White House, where he explained how he believed he could reach out to the hippies to help combat the drug culture, which is great, but Elvis secretly was a user himself. He battled with these issues for years, which ultimately may have played a part in his passing. In late 1973, he was hospitalized from the effects of a pethidine addiction. Since his comeback, he had staged more live shows.
You'll get it later, kid. Just hang on.
With each passing year, and 1973 saw 168 concerts, his busiest schedule ever. Despite his failing health, he undertook another intensive touring schedule in 1974. Elvis had a relationship with Linda Thompson, and it ended. He began dating Ginger Alden in November 1976. He proposed marriage to Alden 2 months later. Despite the accelerating deterioration of his health, Presley fulfilled most of his touring commitments. Way Down, Presley's last single issued during his lifetime, was released on June 6, 1977. Presley's final concert was held in Indianapolis at Market Square Arena on June 26, 1977. On August 16, 1977, Presley was scheduled on an evening flight out of Memphis to Portland, Maine to begin another tour. On that afternoon, his fiancée, Ginger Alden, discovered him unresponsive on the bathroom floor of his Graceland mansion. Attempts to revive him failed, and he was pronounced unalive at Baptist Memorial Hospital at 3:30 p.m. Presley's funeral was held at Graceland on August 18th. Outside the gates, a car crashed into a group of fans, killing 2 young women and critically injuring a third. About 80,000 people lined the processional route to Forest Hill Cemetery, where Presley was buried next to his mother. Within a few weeks, Way Down topped the country and UK singles chart. Following an attempt to steal Presley's body in late August, the remains of both Presley and his mother were exhumed and reburied in Graceland's Meditation Garden on October 2nd. Presley is one of the best-selling music artists in history, having sold an estimated 500 million records worldwide. He was commercially successful in many genres, including pop, country, rock and roll, rockabilly, rhythm and blues, adult contemporary, and gospel. He won 3 Grammy Awards, received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award at age 36, and has been inducted into multiple music halls of fame. On January 12, 2023, at around 10:30 a.m., Elvis' daughter Lisa Marie Presley suffered cardiac arrest at her home in Calabasas, California. Her heart was restarted after CPR was administered en route to West Hills Hospital in Los Angeles, but she died later that day at age 54. According to her autopsy report, Presley died of small bowel obstruction caused by a bariatric surgery she had undergone. The autopsy stated that the opioids in her system did not contribute to her death. Her last public appearance had been 2 days earlier at the 80th Golden Globe Awards, which she attended with her mother. Hundreds attended Presley's public memorial service that was held at Graceland on January 22nd, and more than 1.5 million people watched the service via live stream. Presley was interred in the Graceland Meditation Garden next to her son Benjamin and adjacent to her father Elvis. Elvis Presley's legacy still lives on. Graceland still brings out his fan and remains important to the city of Memphis. Even though I was born after his passing, he has been inspiring to me and others. A movie about his life came out in 2022. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Thank you for tuning in to Cash Doll TV. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you all next time.